This comes one day after he took his tax plan on the road, hoping to sell it to the American public. Did it work is the question. Bring in Democratic strategist Robin Biro. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
We heard from the president last night. Do you think his selling of the tax plan worked?
You know, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. More than anything, I was really encouraged to see that what he was talking about infrastructure before he went on to the tax plan, because Democrats really want to work with him on infrastructure. The tax plan, I think, is just a starting point. That's how I'm looking at this. My biggest concern for his tax plan, though, is the gutting, basically, of the home mortgage interest deduction. People whose homes are worth $801,000 or more will be able to keep that, but that still leaves middle Americans in the lurch with that. And I'm concerned for that because National Association of Realtors and the National Home Builders Association, by their estimates, we will lose about 10% of our home values. So that's where I'm saying that I see this as a starting point. I don't see it passing with that, but I think that we're going to have some room for negotiation as far as that goes. And I just know that, like, for middle Americans, okay, so a family of six, he said, making $90,000 a year will get about $1,000 in tax savings. But if they end up losing 10% of their home values, that's not going to be enough to offset that savings. So that's my concern, but I think it's a start.
Okay, you gave us a lot of information there. Good information, Robin. Before we get into how this could help the middle class, I want to talk about the mortgage deductions and also the state and local deductions that are threatened to be eliminated here. Both of them are huge on the coast, right, in high tax states like New York as well as California. As for mortgage interest deductions, here in New York, you save $3,700 a year on average. So you're afraid that that could go away for a lot of people.
Yes, like I said, if that goes away for people whose homes are worth less than $801,000. So that's the concern. And the concern is that it's going to de-incentivize people to buy real estate because we will see more people renting because they're not going to be able to take advantage of this deduction if their homes are worth less than that. And that has already come up, like National Association of Realtors and the Home Builders Association are lobbying hard against this. And they're one of the most powerful lobbies in the country. So I think they have some clout, and I think that may change.
Where do you think we end up when it comes to the state and local deductions being eliminated? Because that benefits millions and millions of Americans. I think it's 44 million, to tell you the truth.
Of course, and that's going to affect people who file by 1099, independent subcontractors. That will affect them the most. So I think that's another place where we're probably going to have some changes if he's wanting to get Democratic support, because that affects small business owners, people who are, like I said, independent subcontractors. I myself am one, so I expect that will change if he's looking to seriously get bipartisan support. And we are ready to help, but that's one of the areas where we've got to have some wiggle room.
So in how this helps the middle class, we were talking about 7 brackets going down to 3, but now it looks like we're going to have 4 brackets, a 0, a 12, a 25, and a 35% rate, and more people would go into that 0%. Doesn't that help the middle class?
It does to a point. I heard Sarah Huckabee Sanders in her press release said that 75% of Americans do not itemize. So the majority of those people will actually benefit by filing the one-page income tax plan. But those of us who do itemize, who are small business owners and independent subcontractors, we're the ones that are going to suffer. And you're talking about 25% of the United States. So that is my concern for them, and that's where we have to bridge the divide.
We haven't even discussed how corporations will benefit here, whether it's through repatriation of foreign profits or through much lower corporate rates and rates for small businesses as well. That's definitely going to fuel the economy. And wouldn't wages go up as a result of businesses paying less in taxes?
Yes, and people whose incomes are more than $440,000 do receive a much more substantial deduction. I believe it was middle class Americans will get about 1.1%. If I'm not mistaken, people making more than $440,000 get, I believe it's like 14,000 or 14%. And then corporations, theirs go down to what, 25%? So that's going to be a substantial savings. Hopefully that does fuel the economy. You know, it worked for Reagan, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, now the question is when they can get all this passed, if they can. Robin, good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much.